and welcome. My name's James. I'm the candidate coach. Thanks very much for joining me today for this workshop, how to write a knockout cover letter. Now, if you attended our previous workshop, we focused on how to create an amazing resume. And if you want to watch that workshop again, I'll be sharing the link with you shortly so you can watch a replay. In that workshop, we talked about the importance of your resume actually selling you and your resume kind of being like an advertisement for you. It represents you. It's your personal brand. It needs to promote you. It needs to make the employer want to pick up the phone and give you a call. Now, cover letters are in some ways exactly the same, but in some ways they're very different. So in today's session, what I'm going to talk to you about firstly is why cover letters are important. I'm going to show you how you can make a really attractive and eye-catching cover letter that is actually easy to repeat each time you go and apply for a job. When I speak with candidates, one of the main reasons they don't like submitting cover letters is because it takes a lot of time. The expectations with cover letters is that you will really tailor them far more so than you will do your resume. And so if you're applying for multiple jobs each day or each week, you're really needing to create multiple cover letters in some ways from scratch is what many people believe. But what I'm going to show you today in our workshop, I'm going to share with you my template. It's kind of like my secret recipe. It's my formula for creating amazing cover letter that you can customize, that looks really tailored, and that you can change for each job without having to do a huge amount of work. So strap yourselves in. We're going to have a great session today, and I hope that you really learn a lot. Now, it's probably important to remember that when you are attending a workshop, you're probably going to hear lots of new things today. You're going to hear lots of new things. You might not be able to absorb everything. So don't aim to have your complete overhaul of your cover letter unless you really need it. But if you can get one or two things out of today, one or two tips from today's session that really help you with your cover letter moving forward, then I think it will have been time well spent. So how do we write a knockout cover letter? Well, before we get into it, just a couple of housekeeping things. I am streaming to you live today via our YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter channel. I'm appearing on many of our partner sites. A very good morning if you're watching us one of our partner sites today. If for any reason I do drop off the line, if I fall off the line for any reason, please just wait for me to rejoin. It doesn't happen very often, but I do a lot of live streaming and just occasionally we get a gremlin in the line. What I'd love you to do, though, is to ask lots of questions. The Q&A is live today. So if you ask a question in the comments box, a few of you have already said good morning, you will get a response. We will answer your questions live as we're going along today. But also take lots of notes. Take notes as we're going along. And we'll take even further questions at the end of the session today. Maybe you've got a question about your resume, your interview technique, where to find jobs. So the questions don't have to be just limited to cover letters at the end of the session. We will hang around and we will answer the questions that you would like to have answered. A little bit about me, your presenter. Who am I? Well, my name's James. As I said, I'm a director at Smart Recruitment, and I've been at Smart Recruitment since 2005. So I've spent my whole career in recruitment since I graduated in HR in Melbourne, in Australia. I've conducted over 3,000 interviews, over 600 group assessments in that time, and placed over 1,000 people into jobs. Probably for the context of today, over that period of time, I've easily read 100,000 resumes, and I'd say probably 2/3 of those resumes had cover letters. So yeah, 50 to 60,000 plus cover letters I've read over my recruitment journey. And I've really noticed how big a difference a good cover letter can have. It can make all of the difference. And we launched the Candidate Coach, the platform that we're meeting on today, in December 2019. Now, one of the myths, I want to debunk one of the myths to start off with. A lot of people will tell you, look, you don't really need to write a cover letter. Cover letters aren't read anymore. They're kind of, they were good in 1995, but they're just not relevant anymore. I want to tell you that is absolute complete bollocks. Unless the recruiter that you are applying to tells you they are not going to read your cover letter, you should submit a cover letter. I will be reading cover letters today. A lot of my colleagues will be reading cover letters today. Candidates who don't send through a cover letter are missing out. Now, if a recruiter says to you, hey, I'd love you to apply for this job, don't worry about a cover letter, we don't read it, that's fine. Then you don't need to go and submit a cover letter. But unless you specifically know in advance that is the case, then you need to submit a cover letter because it's too much of a risk. Now, as I mentioned, yesterday we ran a great workshop, Create an Amazing Resume. And there's not much point having a great cover letter unless you have a great resume to go with it. You can go and watch a replay. So I'll leave this up on the screen there for a moment. I know with a YouTube link like that, it's capital letters and it's lowercase letters. But if you want to go and watch a replay of our workshop, How to Create an Amazing Resume, which partners in many ways with today's workshop, Write a Knockout Cover Letter, screenshot that, write that down quickly, go away and watch that workshop on our YouTube channel. Or if you attended last week and you want to watch it again, go and knock yourself out and make sure that you've got an amazing resume to go with your knockout cover letter. So, cover letters. I want to start off by asking you a couple of questions. Feel free to type these into the comments box if you like, what your answers are. Question number one, are you submitting a cover letter with every application? I've kind of given this away. Is it yes? Is it no? Or is it just sometimes? Is it just sometimes that you're submitting a cover letter? And then the follow-up question, are you tailoring each and every cover letter to make it specific to that vacancy? Or are you using the same cover letter? Are you using the same cover letter to apply for every job? Yes, no, or sometimes. Feel free to type your answer in wherever you're watching. I want to share something with you. So this is Joanne. She's a recruiter. Joanne reads cover letters before she opens the resume. So imagine if you're applying to a job that Joanne's recruiting for. She's going to look at your cover letter first. She's going to read your cover letter before she reads your resume. Now, Joanne's not the same as every other recruiter out there. Joanne's probably more unusual in the way she goes about it. The challenge for you is you don't know who is reading your application. You don't know whether you're sending it to Joanne or whether you're sending it to somebody else. If you have a poor cover letter, or if you don't have a cover letter, she might not even open your resume. Have you ever thought about that? Having a poor cover letter or having no cover letter can mean your resume will not be opened up at all. So, as I said before, it's a risk. And my view is you can only submit two things. A resume and a cover letter. 99% of the time, that's all you can submit, a resume and a cover letter. Why would you skip one of those? Why would you pass on this opportunity? I think a lot of people are fearful of having a bad cover letter. And so instead of having a bad cover letter, they opt for no cover letter. Whereas what I'm going to show you now is how easy it is to create a knockout cover letter. All right. So, what actually are cover letters? Well, sorry, just to re-highlight my answers there. The answer is yes and yes. Yes for every application. We need to be submitting a cover letter for every application. And yes, we must be tailoring our cover letter for every application. Now, I know what you're thinking here. You probably think, James, this means it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time. I've got to tailor my resume. I've got to tailor my cover letter. I'm looking for work at the moment. What I say to a lot of my students when I'm coaching them is I really want you to only apply for a maximum of 2 jobs every day. Because for each application, yes, you need to be going and reading the ad thoroughly and understanding it. You need to be researching into the company. You need to be tailoring your cover letter and you need to be tailoring your resume. You want to be applying specific for that vacancy. That is going to take you 2 or 3 hours per application to do it well, because you need to do it well. So a maximum of 2 jobs per day, because we need to be putting in effort. Alternatively, you can sit there and we see it on our end. We see people who apply for 50 jobs in 50 minutes. They just click and apply the same resume and cover letter and they send it off to 50 jobs. Now, from a recruiter's point of view, which application do you think is going to stand out the most? The one that you spent 2 or 3 hours on and you've tailored it, you've customized it specific for the job, or the one that just gets sent out to every single job? Have a think. I'm not saying that you can't apply for more jobs than that. And even if you are only doing 2 a day, if you're applying for jobs 5 days a week, that's still 10 applications a week. If you're looking for a month, that's 40 applications. That's a lot of applications for you to keep track of. We need to make sure that we're keeping track of our applications. Okay, so cover letters. We actually use different language. When we think about our resume and our cover letter, they are very different. So first of all, it is a letter. We forget the letter component of a cover letter. And when we write a letter, we normally write it to somebody. Not very often in the year 2022 and beyond do we actually write letters, but we might write emails. Again, if you're writing an email, you're normally writing it to somebody. Even if you're writing it to a company, you still personalize it in many ways. And so we need to remember that. We need to personalize it. We need to research the company and the position. So this is what I mentioned earlier. We need to research the company and the position and include that information in our cover letter. Include that information on that cover letter. Because we want to show in our cover letter that we have spent time, effort, and energy to go and do the research. 1 page long. Your cover letter is only ever 1 page long unless you've been asked to address a selection criteria. That is quite long. So if the advertisement says, please address the following selection criteria and there's 10 dot points, you need to address it, and then it will be more than 1 page long. But unless something like that occurs, your resume is only ever 1 page long. Proofread it. Proofread it multiple times. Everybody thinks that their cover letter doesn't have a mistake, but guess what? Most cover letters have a mistake. I have a lot of mistakes in my own work. I don't see them most of the time because when I read something back to me, I read it the way I meant it to sound. So most mistakes people make, they're not spelling, they're not typos, they're grammatical errors. And they're really hard for you to pick up. So proofread it multiple times. So what do we need to stop doing? Let's hold up that stop sign. Stop. Stop submitting the same cover letter for every vacancy because it just makes you look like a lazy candidate. All right, this is what a good cover letter looks like. So I'm going to show you, run you through the outline, and then I'm going to show you a couple that I've created. So guess what? It is just 4 simple paragraphs. Now, on top of the 4 paragraphs, we might include our own details in the top right-hand corner. We might include our address or something along those lines. But a great cover letter or a good cover letter looks like this. So paragraph 1, specifically address the role and the company you are applying to. 2 sentences should be enough. So if you're applying to a job with me, it would say, Dear James, please find attached my resume and cover letter for the sales representative position at the Candidate Coach. It's that simple. Name, job title, company. If you do those things straight away, as the reader, I can see, okay, first of all, this candidate has taken the time to at least edit their cover letter a little bit and they've used my name. You are probably already going into the top 10% of cover letters by doing this first paragraph. Most of the cover letters I get are Dear Sir or Madam, to whom it may concern, about the vacancy. I have my name on every advertisement that I post. Now, I know not everybody does, and if they don't, then you can do to Dear Sir, Dear Sir or Madam, or to whom it may concern. But if there is the name of a person on the advertisement, always use their name. My name is on there. What it means for me is I can actually see who's taken the time to at least put my name on the cover letter. So paragraph 1 is easy. Should only take you 2 or 3 minutes. Now, if you really want to stand out, let me share a little secret with you. If you are applying for a job and you want to send in a cover letter and there is no name, I would encourage you to call the company and just say, hey, I'm about to apply for the sales representative position. Can you please let me know who I should address my cover letter to? Now, if the person on the other end of the line says, yes, you can address it to Samantha Brown. Or the person on the other end of the line might say, I can't give you that information. If they can't give you that information, don't worry about it. You've lost nothing. But if they tell you the name of the person is Samantha Brown, and if Samantha Brown is going through 100 resumes and 70 cover letters, and one cover letter says, "Dear Samantha," do you think that's going to stand out? Absolutely, it will. So be brave, make a phone call, see if you can find out. It could be the one thing you do in the whole recruitment process that gets you the job, because all the other candidates are good. You've got a good background, you've got a good resume, they've got a good background, they've got a good resume, you interview well, they interview well. But Samantha remembers that from the start, you had a name on a cover letter. And so there's a bit more interest in your application. It sounds silly, but it can often work that way. So that's paragraph 1. Only takes 2 minutes, unless you're going to make a phone call. Might take 4 minutes. It's easy to do. Paragraph 2. So this is where we need to start to do a little bit of work. So we want to mention 2 or 3 things here that we know about the organization or the vacancy. So we do some research. We can go onto the company website. We can go onto their careers page. We can find their annual report. In some ways, it doesn't really matter overly what we mentioned here. Our aim here is to show the person reading this paragraph, we have done research. We have gone away and we have done a lot of research, and we want the person reading the cover letter to think, wow, look at this. They've mentioned 2 or 3 things here that they know about us. They sound really keen on working for us. We do that by mentioning 2 or 3 things we know about the organization or about that particular vacancy. It's to show off. And then paragraph 3, we're going to talk about ourselves. So paragraph 2, it's about the company or the job. Paragraph 3, it's about ourselves. So we're kind of repeating the process. We're going to mention some key skills or experience about ourselves that are relevant to the position. We can only pick 2 or 3 things here. 2 or 3 things. And this is one of the reasons, again, why your cover letter must change for every job. Even if you are out there and you are just looking for a customer service job, every customer service job is a little bit different. Every customer service advertisement is a little bit different. In paragraph 3, key skills or key experience. So we can maybe mention 2 or 3 things. We've got to mention 2 or 3 things that we've done that are relevant to the job. There is no point in mentioning that, we have great phone-based customer service experience if the job is not asking for it. If the job is asking for it, we want to mention it. So we've got a tailor here. So paragraph 3, what are our key skills relevant to the position? And then paragraph 4, it is a brief conclusion. Something like, thank you for reading my cover letter. I can be reached on this number, and I look forward to hearing back from you. That's a 1-minute line. So paragraph 1 and 4, very straightforward. They only take a couple of minutes. Paragraph 2 and 3 is where we need to do the work. But again, I don't think the amount of work I'm asking you to do here is excessive. And if you do it, if you follow my formula here, you will be in the top 1%. Top 1% of cover letters. I guarantee. Because, as I said before, most people are lazy. When it comes to cover letters, they do the bare minimum. So if you can tailor yours, you will really have yours standing out. All right, I'm going to show you now how I've applied my own rules into writing a cover letter. Here we go. So, top right-hand corner, you might see there that I have included the address. But then we get into the cover letter. So, dear Rupert, I'm writing to you as an enthusiastic applicant for the marketing coordinator with Duke Industries. So we've used a person's name, Rupert, the job title, marketing coordinator, and the company, Duke Industries. Again, straight away, this sounds really good. It sounds really good. I know that this person has taken some effort straight away with this cover letter. All right, paragraph 2. Here's where we're going to talk about what we know about the company or the vacancy. Sorry if it looks like I'm looking over to the right, because that's where my presentation screen is. I'm right. So I've long followed Duke Industries and was impressed to see them win an award at last month's National Marketing Awards. To be recognised for digital innovation is a great achievement. As a passionate marketing graduate, I've studied Duke Industries' graduate marketing program and am impressed with commitment to both technical and holistic learning. Now, this is a made-up company and a made-up cover letter. You might think that that paragraph there sounds really specific, but have a look at it. If Duke Industries did win an award, it would be on their company website. It would probably be on their socials, and we're just mentioning that in the cover letter. We're also mentioning that we've studied their graduate marketing program, and we're really impressed. So again, if I was reading this cover letter, I'd think, yes, this candidate is doing a lot of research. They've put a lot of effort in. They know about us and they know about our program. They're not just throwing this cover letter out to the job like they do every other job, or like most candidates do. All right, paragraph 3, this is where we're going to focus on ourselves. Whilst completing my master's in marketing last year, I was given the opportunity to work as an intern in the marketing department at Rosenberg & Associates. This 12-month placement included 4 rotations. However, it was digital marketing which I enjoyed the most. I worked with several of our top-tier clients and gained great exposure. I was awarded Intern of the Year from a pool of 20. Now, you might not be able to make those claims. You might not have been Intern of the Year. But what you can see here is that the person is mentioning some skills or experience or achievement that is really relevant to the job. We know it's a marketing coordinator role. So we're talking about how we've worked in a graduate marketing placement. It's very, very relevant. Then paragraph 4, it's a simple sign-off. Oh, sorry, one more thing on paragraph 3. If you've made an achievement, mention it. If you've won an award, you've done something that was top performing, mention it in your cover letter. Be really, really proud of that achievement. And paragraph 4, it's a simple sign-off, isn't it? It is a simple sign-off. I look forward to hearing back from you regarding my application. I'll be able to make myself available at short notice. So paragraph 1 and 4, 1 to 2 minutes each. Paragraph 2 and 3, that's where we do the work. But again, once you get used to writing a cover letter like this, I don't think it's going to take you a lot of time. I really don't think it will. Now, I'm going to show you the same cover letter or the same text written in a different layout, a different format. Okay, so let me bring that back up for you now. So here's the same cover letter, but we've got a different layout and design here. Excuse me. Excuse me. Just have a sip of water. If you look from Dear Rupert and below, it's exactly the same. I'm writing to you as an enthusiastic applicant for the marketing coordinator vacancy with Duke Industries. So everything below there is the same, but we've done a couple of different, I guess, graphical design bits here. So we've put the name up the top and the title. We've also put contact details. And then down the left-hand side, we've included a headshot and a profile. So there's a bit of extra information here. We've talked a little bit more about ourselves. We're showing a bit more branding, a bit more personal branding as well. Whether or not you use template 1 or template 2, it's really up to you. You've got to do what you feel comfortable with. If you like the one that's on the screen there now with a photo and a bit more design, great, go and use it. If you like the more simple layout, great, go and do that. It's your personal brand. So just a question that's come through, I might answer this one live on air. Paragraph 3 really needs to be specific examples of what we've done, not just general attributes such as highly organized. This is a great question. I would say yes, specific examples are far more powerful. Specific examples on resumes, specific examples on cover letters are far more powerful. You can sit there and say, hey, I'm organized and I'm a good communicator. Great. But guess what? Anybody can say that. It's not quantifiable. If you mention something specific, though, like I have a typing speed of 80 words per minute, that's specific. That is specific. And if you're going for an administration job, it's a really good thing to have. So yes, I would look to make your skills, achievements, or experience as specific as you can get. And again, bearing in mind, it's paragraph 3, it's one paragraph. We can only choose a couple of things, 2, maybe 3 at the most. So we really want to be promoting and selling ourselves there. Thank you for that question. I don't always read them out on air, but that one was really relevant. Okay, now with all of the templates that I've shown you, both of them, you can download these on our candidate coaching platform. If you like, you can go and download this template today. Obviously, you need to rewrite it because you're not me, but you can go and use this template. We've got it available for you to use and we've got some instructions that go with it too. Okay, so you're probably wondering, what's with all the research? I'm asking you to do a lot of research. Well, I want to share with you a quote from a well-known recruiter in Australia who's here in Melbourne, Stefan Wheeler. And this is a LinkedIn post that he did a little while ago. So Stefan wrote, credentials on your resume will get you that first interview, but it's not the key to your next position. Looking at the people we recently hired or who will be joining us shortly, there is one thing that they all have in common. They were uber prepared. They have dug deep into what we do and stand for. They impressed us with their understanding of our business and the problems we are trying to solve. Yet, not all of them were exactly what we were looking for. On the opposite side, I interviewed a candidate the other day who looked great on paper. But when I spoke with her, she had no idea what we were doing and said she'd only research a company once she lands an on-site interview. Well, it's a Zoom interview these days. Though if you haven't spent any time researching our company, you are missing the mark. I understand doing research takes effort and you don't even know if it will pay off. However, that's exactly what other applicants do to get the job. And they're the ones you compete with right from the beginning of the application. So it's the last paragraph. I'm going to read it again because this is key. I understand doing research takes effort and you don't even know if it will pay off. However, that's exactly what other applicants do to get the job. And they're the ones that you compete with right from the beginning of your application. So you might be sitting there and you might think, look, I don't think I need to do the research. Guess what? You're right. You don't need to do the research. But also, guess what? The best candidates are. And you are competing against the best candidates for the job when you submit your application. Alrighty, if you are wanting more cover letter tips, head over to our candidate coaching platform. You can watch a whole video, episode 7, writing a great cover letter. You can hear from myself and the other recruiters you can see on the screen there now with all different backgrounds who will give you their thoughts and advice on how to write a great cover letter. If you're wanting more assistance beyond that, a reminder of all the tools and resources that are available to you on our candidate coaching platform. We have 12, well, it's actually up to 14 video coaching episodes on all different topics. Resumes, cover letters, yes. We've got 2 videos on how to prepare and stand out at interview. We've got videos on salary negotiation, how to prepare for a video interview specifically, how to create an elevator pitch, a whole lot of different coaching videos. We've got templates that you can download. Interview questions. If you're unsure about what you need to practice when you are going to have an interview, come and download our interview questions. We've got online tests. You can take an online test and get a score based on your skill. You can get a checklist downloaded to make sure you are ready. Got a video interview? Download our checklist to make sure you are best prepared for your video interview. We've got articles you can read. We've got specific content and advice for executive job seekers who are going for senior level type roles. We advertise more live upcoming workshops, and we've got mental health resources as well available to you, all for free. So, thank you for attending. We would love for you to provide feedback on today's workshop. So most weeks we run 2 different workshops. We are running 8 workshops every month, and we would love to get some feedback from you on what you thought of today's workshop so that we can continue to improve our workshops into the future. In that survey, it's only 4 or 5 questions. We also ask you, what other topics would you like us to present on? We do LinkedIn. We've got personal branding coming up soon. We have workshops coming up in the next few weeks with regards to interview technique, how to give great interview questions, how to give great answers to interview questions, and many other topics. But we would love to hear from you. What is it at the moment? Where are you struggling with your job search? Where can we provide you with some assistance? We'll finish today with this video. This video is really important. It talks about the mental health challenge that is quite hidden when it comes to looking for work, but that many people might suffer from. So thank you for joining us today. This workshop will conclude at the end of this video. Get out there, rewrite your cover letter. Good luck with your job hunting. Bye-bye for now.
horrific at the moment and you feel like your mental well-being has taken a little bit of a dip, please remember this is not going to last forever. There's lots you can do to manage your mental health and get back on top of it. I am Dr. Sarah Barker. I'm a clinical psychologist. I've worked in workplace mental health with Black Dog Institute for the past 7 years. I work with a lot of adults and young people, mainly with anxiety, depression, trauma as well, a range of issues, and many who are looking for work and undergoing that process of trying to find employment. Looking for work causes mental strain because our identity is tied up with our work. Work gives us meaning, it gives us purpose, it gives us company and connection. So it's stressful for lots of reasons looking for work, and it can take a toll on our mental health. It's really important for us to be aware of the signs that our well-being and our mental health might be dropping. Probably the biggest sign is changes in behaviour. So that might be changes in the way we're thinking or talking to ourselves. We might be saying things like, who would employ me? I'll never get a job. We might be really down on ourselves and really hard and critical on ourselves when normally we're not so hard and critical. We might also, in our relationships, change our behaviour. We might be more snappy or more irritable with people that we love, that normally we might be a little bit irritable sometimes, but not irritable in that way. Losing interest in things that usually sparked us and ignited us and gave us joy. So perhaps usually we like walking the dog and suddenly we start thinking, I can't be bothered walking the dog today. That sort of thing, those changes in behaviour are really significant because they tell us that something's different, and if we're noticing, I suppose, more than one of those and it's affecting the way we feel, and this is over a period of say 2 weeks or longer, then it's a really good idea to have a chat to a GP that you trust, and find out what might be going on, have a discussion and see if there's any physical reasons for that, or if perhaps your mental health and well-being might be able to do with a little bit of extra support, and then the GP can refer you on to see a psychologist, a counsellor, whoever is most appropriate for you. There are so many great things you can do to look after your mental health when you're looking for work, and it's really important that you do. My very top tip would be really talking kindly to yourself and being compassionate with yourself. I think when we're looking for work, we can have a lot more questions like, will I ever get a job? Will I ever be employed? It can feel like this could go on forever. So being kind to ourselves and saying things like, it will work out. There will be a day, my efforts will be rewarded. It will just take time. I just need to keep trying. Reminding yourself of your strengths. And that might even be tapping into people you love and asking them what your strengths are, because sometimes it's harder to find them when our mood's a bit low and we're feeling more worried. We can be harder on ourselves. I think that routine is really, really important to our well-being. When we're looking for work, we mightn't have such a regular routine because there mightn't be a 9 to 5 start and finish time for a job, or there isn't. So instead, thinking about looking for work as a job in itself can be helpful. Having a start time and a finish time can be really helpful, and some set tasks that you hope to achieve that day. Purpose is really important too. So purpose might come through routine, but it can also come through other things. Meaning's really important, and our work gives us meaning. So when we're looking for work, meaning mightn't feel like it's there as much. Part of what we can do is infuse those tasks with meaning. So I am doing these things today, I'm looking for work, and that is meaningful in itself because there's an end goal to this. It will be something that's good for me and good for the people that I love as well. Some excellent resources for looking after well-being when looking for work are the Headgear app. The Headgear app is free, it's evidence-based, it's developed by Black Dog Institute, and it is fun to use. It uses mindfulness, so a technique to really help us relax and reduce physiological arousal, which can often occur when we're feeling anxious. It's got a 30-day challenge, which is just short, bite-sized little challenges to extend your well-being and grow your well-being, and that can be really extra important when we're looking for work. There are also some really terrific resources available through the Black Dog Institute. One of them is a beautiful self-care plan that encourages you to think about your top coping tips, the things that personally work best for you, that are positive coping strategies. Another really good resource is through Beyond Blue, and they've got some excellent resources to look after mental health while looking for work, and also when people are recently out of work as well. Probably time to seek professional assistance when you notice your mood is lower and you're feeling more down than usual, when you're worrying more and perhaps worrying excessively about things that you wouldn't normally worry about, and perhaps in your relationships too, when you're more tense with people and perhaps more snappy or irritable. All of these are signs that perhaps our mood is not in the greatest space, and our well-being is not in the greatest space, and that it can be a great idea then to chat to your GP, who can then refer you to an appropriate person to help you strengthen your well-being. It's very common for people to have a dip, but please know that that's not going to last forever, and that there's lots you can do through looking after yourself, but also through getting access to professional support that can really give you a boost again and get you back feeling good as you're looking for work.